Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Today's conversation was sparked by a statement that quickly went viral. A woman said that if a man hasn't had sex with at least 200 women, he isn't experienced. That moment started a lot of reactions, but it also opened the door to a deeper conversation about how we define experience, masculinity, and value when it comes to sex. When you really look at it, this isn't just about sex. It connects to mental health, money, relationships, and the strength of families. So today we're taking a closer look at where this idea comes from, why it resonates with some people, and what it costs us when these beliefs shape how we live, love, and build. I am Dr. Lene Javette, and today I am joined by Noma Lenga, a marriage, motherhood, and money-making specialist expert, as well as Deborah E. Williams from our Fly Nubian community, who's joining us on the stage today. Welcome, 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 ladies. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to the ladies on the panel. Happy New Year to those of you in the chat. I believe we were back yesterday, but this is my first day back in the office on the screen. So happy New Year to everybody. It's 2026. This is how we starting it. What are your thoughts when you hear that a woman believes that a man has to have sex? Was this a man or a woman? A woman said that if a man hasn't had sex with at least 200 women, he isn't experienced. Normalinga, we'll start with you.
So I actually got to see the videos, and I didn't see where exactly someone said that having less than 200 partners made somebody inexperienced. I did notice that there was kind of a double standard where it seemed like there was one gentleman, I'm not sure if I should call him a gentleman, but there was a man there who said that he felt like he could have slept with
Wait,
200 women.
no, because we haven't gotten to the video yet. I'm just asking you what your opinion is when you hear it. When you hear that.
Okay. It's obviously rubbish. It's obviously rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
All right, Deborah, what are your thoughts when you hear that a woman says that a man needs 200, 300 bodies to be good in bed? I can't hear you. Hello? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I can't hear Deborah. All right. Well, if we have the video, let's go ahead and get started with the video, and then we'll come back and get Deborah's take on it.
And don't be trying to let people trick y'all into thinking that being ran through is a bad thing. It's really not. If you ain't got at least 50 or 100 bodies, then you really not experienced. At least 25 to 50 bodies, you really not fucking experienced. You don't know what to do. And it's just, you got to at least have at least 50 to 100 bodies. If you ain't got 100 to 200 bodies, then you really ain't put in no work. Because if you ain't had number one or two people, then you not experienced and you don't missed out on a lot. So, if you ain't got at least 200 to 300 bodies, then, you really ain't experienced. You need to get your bodies up because, it's so many different styles out here. It's big ones, little ones, small ones, fat ones, thin ones. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't got at least 300 to 400 bodies, then, you need to get your bodies up. Like, you need to get your count up. So don't.
I think she's trolling.
I hope so. I hope she's trolling.
I mean, there's a bonnet, there's expletives.
I was about to say, you always gotta look at the messenger, because I mean, some of that tells you should trust and believe in what you should talk about. The messenger, right? Can promiscuity quietly drain financial resources? Is having sex with that many people going to cause you financial ruin? Or no, like, what are your thoughts when you see the video? I guess you were getting ready to say something about a video that you saw and what was going on in the video.
I think it'll come up later because I kind of pre-watched the videos that we were gonna put on today. And one guy was saying that he had been with 200 women, and he was just kind of saying he doesn't see anything wrong with it, but he sees something very wrong if a woman had been with 200 men. And you'll find that this woman is also saying the same thing. She's like, she's saying a man must have slept with 200 people. And I guess if the most important thing to you in life is sex, then that conversation kind of makes sense. But other than that, I really don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't understand how a higher body count brings about experience. Now, I understand, practice till you get it right. I mean, I get that, but
So one person, you can practice and have 200 sex experiences with one person.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. You practice does make perfect, right? So you can have 200 experiences, but you don't have to have 200 bodies. I think that's going to make you more confused because John, Jim, James, Jerome liked it one way, Adam, Paul, and Jim like it another way, Steve like it a different way. Like you have all these different experiences. They actually, I think, will be more confusing to you because you don't know who likes what. Deborah, what do you think? Do you think that being promiscuous and having this many partners is going to help you be more experienced in the bedroom?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster. Having too many people in your spirit, in your life, I don't think that it's going to bring experience. I think it's going to bring chaos.
I think it's going to bring chaos too. I think it's going to be more, it's going to be more difficult for you to have a relationship. It's definitely going to be expensive because you definitely got to wine and dine before you go out.
Says who? Ugh.
I guess that's true. That's true because you can Netflix and chill. As long as you got $9.99 for that Netflix account, you straight. Little Netflix and chill. Pop some popcorn. Invite somebody over. Do you think that sexual experiences is the same as emotional maturity? Meaning, if you're having a lot of sex, does that mean you're emotionally mature? Nomalanga, do you think that like what does it mean? No, let's start with that. Do you think having a lot of sex with a lot of people makes you emotionally mature?
No, I actually just said it. I think it's disgusting. And also, I always want to draw a line between when we're talking about men and when we're talking about women because it's not the same. I can speak from a woman's point of view. It really will mess a woman up. And I have seen women who are messed up. Some do recover, they put themselves back together and all of that. But I've seen women who never recover from that kind of thing. It also makes you wonder what triggered that. Because typically you'd want to form an emotional attachment to the person that you're going to be that intimate with. And to get to 200, you couldn't have formed emotional attachments in a day or two or however long it takes for people to hop in the sack. So it's actually very damaging, I think.
I don't know what the age range is on that. 200. Even at one a month, that's 200 months, 12 months in the year. Like, how fast are you having sex with these people to get to?
Don't assume people have sex with one person in one day. People do some crazy things.
That's very interesting. Okay. We are pushing up on our 12-minute mark. Actually, it just happened right now. So we'll go to our first or second video right now.
Bitch 10, you definitely over with.
7?
It's over with.
But he's 25.
5?
How many bodies you
What
got?
the fuck that mean? Because I'm 25.
How many bodies you got?
Over 200.
So the woman can't have more than 5.
He's a hoe.
Yeah, it's over with.
You a fucking hoe.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I'm so confused.
Yeah. 200? That's crazy.
You're a
She
messy
can't
hoe.
have 10
It's over with.
in her lifespan.
I'm the only one that could do that.
I know. I mean, I think it's hard. I get it. Like, you feel how you feel, but I will say it's different now. Like, women are able to do, I feel like, the same things that men do a lot. Mm-hmm. Truthfully. Like, what y'all...
That's the one I was talking about. That's the one I was talking about, with the guy saying he can have 200 partners and that's okay. And then he's like, if a woman even has 10, it's not okay. She's been ran through. She's a hoe, and no, nobody will want her. And as offensive as that sounds, it's actually true. Most men feel that way.
I feel like what's good for the goose is good for the gander, but that's neither here nor there. I do think that things are different for men and women. The things that men can do, women cannot do. And they're judged differently when a man says or does something as disgusting as I have 200, 300 bodies. It causes the same, it causes, when a woman says it, it's like, oh, when a man says it, it's like, oh, okay. But it's the same.
Yeah.
200 bodies is 200 bodies. Giving or receiving, it's still 200 bodies. It's still saying that I lack care and maybe even respect for myself. Definitely for the people that I'm laying down.
And my body. Yeah.
My body, exactly. Now, 200 is a lot of people. What do you think that this type of propaganda out in the world in social media, what does that teach young men and young women about relationships and or sex? Somebody said that's because so many women only want men who other women are chasing. I don't necessarily know if that's true. It is true, but not in the way that it's not in that way. Nolan, what do you think that this type of propaganda, malarkey,
so it's not propaganda, it's how men actually feel. That guy just happened.
You're saying men feel like they should sleep with 200, 300 women?
Maybe not 200 or 300, but if you ask the average man, there's two people standing in front of him. One is a man, one is a woman, and they've both had a lot of sexual partners. They don't judge the woman the same way they judge the man. They're gonna see a guy who's had a lot of partners is gonna be, you dog, oh wow, man, what's high five and all that. And then the woman that is gonna be looked at like, oh, what's wrong with you? And and it makes them think twice about being with her. That's just a fact. It's not, it's not my opinion. It's something that you'll find if you talk to just grab any random 10 men, and I'm sure at least 8 or 9 of them, if they're being honest, have those kinds of feelings. And actually, even women have those kinds of feelings. They don't feel so strongly about a man having they're not as judgmental of a man having a lot of sexual partners as they are of a woman having a lot of sexual partners. Scientifically, I've had it really broken down, and the way we function in terms of our emotions and our hormones is also not the same. Women have more hormones that balance them and make them connect, because we give birth to children, we connect with our babies, we breastfeed, we do all of these things. So we actually need the connection more than men need the connection, which is why we should, if we know what's good for us, have way less of a body count than men, because it literally is damaging to us. It's damaging to us on a emotional, psychological level. It really is damaging. And I think by the time that a woman ends up just, getting up to that 200, 300 mark, something is very wrong. Something is very wrong. Now, so in society, if a man went to maybe his uncle, his dad, his buddies or whatever, and said, this is what I'm doing, they wouldn't say, that's damaging to your psyche, or that's damaging to your emotions, or what have you. They'd more likely be like, man, you better wrap it up, so you don't get no STDs. You better wrap it up so that you don't, make no babies. Or they're not really thinking about his well-being the way that you would think about a woman's well-being.
Yeah. God, you said something. I was trying to think of what you said something. I was gonna. Or somebody said something. God dang it! I lost my count. What I was gonna say? Maybe hold on. Actually, it was our producer. She said that. Have you listened to music? It's encouraged. That's what she said. And she was talking about how a lot of things are glorified. I remember when this is a little bit off topic, but still on topic. Molly, that song. There was a song about Molly that came out a couple of years ago, and they were um, glorifying lean and popping pills and all these different things, and then pill popping and lean and all these things were spiked because they're glorifying and they're talking about it in the music. And so when you turn around and you hear, she said, sexploitation, pimp movies, stuff like that. You turn around and you hear these songs. I don't even know the songs, so I can't reference them, but I know that there's like some type of song about booty holes, and there's more than enough songs that talk about, you know, how much sex you're having and how you're having sex and what you're doing. And it's not just the men. You got the women on here who, I don't know who's worse, the women or the men. Like the women out here talking about the craziest stuff too. And it's just being pushed that sex is cool and okay. Many partners, women are calling themselves bitches and talking about what they're gonna do in hoes. Like we are allowing the degrading to happen, not just allow, but we're participating in it. And so when we go to talk about man and woman dynamics and relationships, how does this mindset of having 200 bodies, 300 bodies, what does that do? How does that shape how men treat women? How women are treated by men, the expectations of each other, relationships, when we're saying you got to have 200-300 bodies on you in order for you to know what you're doing, vice versa. So let's take it from the man's perspective first, right? If a man came to me and told me that he had 200-300 bodies, I'm immediately not interested. Immediately. We don't got to talk about it. You don't got to tell me nothing. You don't got to explain. There's nothing.
Understand, Lene, how it comes up in conversation. Like,
oh, it does.
People ask each other, like, okay, you know, what's your favorite color? How many people have you been with? It's so weird to me.
I ask. I know my exact number. I know my exact number. I was literally, when I saw this title, I was talking to my dude. I asked him what his number was, and we've talked about it before. But me and my girlfriend were younger. I was promiscuous, so I kept track. So I would always know.
You tell the truth about your number?
The number, huh?
You tell the truth about your number?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've only been with 2 people, and that's because I was married once before, and I'm married now, so just 2.
Oh, girl. No. Not in a bad way, but I'm just like,
Norma Lenka, you would not even be in this conversation with the 200 people. You would
not at all. They would say you're not experienced, Norma Lenka.
Exactly.
Somebody says that they've been with me. I'm like, oh, you lying? Who? I don't even know him. Like, who?
Armando said women are tricked more into sex by the culture of R&B music. R. Kelly, just an example. You hear things in music, maybe you want to try, maybe you a lot of the music is about sex me, baby, sex me. I mean, there's sex is everywhere. Normally, these are the types of conversations you're having in your home with a parent who's saying, you know, protect yourself, keep your legs closed, ladies, this, that, and the other. But now with social media influence, everybody's talking about give it up, give it out, be independent, be liberated, give it out, like share it. And I didn't even actually get the full question out. How does this mindset shape how men treat women? Deborah, you can answer. Thank you for you're welcome back. How do you think that this type, of mindset affects how men treat women?
It devalues your worth. Like, we should know our worth. And the more and more people that you just haphazardly are having sex with, it like devalues you. It, first of all, for the woman, it's an emotional attachment. It may not be as emotional for the men, but definitely for the women, we connect that way. So you're connecting with 200 people, you're going to really be out there. You can actually probably send yourself into a mental state by doing this. And the morality, your morale is low when you do these type of things. You should have a high standard for yourself.
I'm going to agree with low confidence. No. I'm going to agree with value. Because a lot of times with men, when men have sex like this, it's ego. When women have sex like this, it's one of 2 things: confidence or lack thereof. Some women who have 100, 200, 300 body counts, it's a confidence thing. I can sleep who I want to. I could, you know what I'm saying? Others do it in reverse, lack of self-confidence, thinking that it'll make a man like them, right? No, Malanga, do you think that, and I'm asking you specifically because you have a low sex count, do you think that high
I
sexual
was being funny, by the way, just saying.
automatically, huh?
I was being funny.
No, you've had more than 2 people?
That's why I was saying, like, do you actually tell your number? Because I've only been with 2 people, and the only reason I can admit those. The only reason I can admit those 2 is because I have children.
Let me say, there's this meme on social media, and it says, "What if we have to wear our count on our forehead, right? And the dude has like 32, and old girl has like 0, and they sleep together or whatever." And after they sleep together, he wakes up and her count still says 0. And he was like, something is wrong with your count. And I'm watching it thinking, oh, maybe he was small and it didn't register. And he was like, no, something is wrong. I know, something is wrong, something's wrong. And she rips off her thing, like it's plastic, and it's like 1,322.
That's hilarious.
That is it like 0. So do people really tell their numbers? I don't know.
Well, women don't, and that's because with that video that we saw, he was saying he'll like uncomfortably accept 3, maybe 4, but 10, and you're a hoe. So what woman's gonna say? Yeah, I've been with 10 men, 20 men, 200. Nobody's gonna be. I've been with 2. That's it.
Period. That's it.
My goodness.
How are you gonna prove anything?
Which if it's in the front or the back? Anywho, we're of the moment for another video.
They want a guy who knows what he's doing in the bedroom.
Without having hella body count.
It's definitely a weird contradiction.
It's unrealistic.
But I think they would prefer the guy who has the higher body count. Or who has the skill.
Well, of course they would choose that, but the thing is, like, they don't worry about, like, a guy's body count as much. Because they know, like, hey, he has experience now. And then they'll just ignore that part.
Yeah. As long as you don't bring
it up. The past is the past. You don't have to share.
I mean, they'll make comments every now and then. It's like, oh, man. If it's good, they'll make comments. I mean, they'll have those thoughts. As long as you don't bring it up and you're not throwing it in the face or whatever. Or look the other way. Or they don't really care and they're just pretending to care.
There might be certain individual females that might be like, hey,
I've dealt with some.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They brought it up.
Yeah, they didn't like bodies.
A body? How'd they feel about it?
At one point, they felt some type of way about it. Like, all right, we can't see each other. All right, whatever. They broke it off, right? But then, it's weird. They had conversations with other people, like their friends or whatever. No, this was about celibacy. Never mind.
Should we assume, Lene, that a high body count means good in bed? Because it absolutely does not.
It does not.
He could have just disappointed 200 women.
Thank you. I was going to say, not only does it not mean get in bed, it could mean horrible. You just out here running around like a rabbit trying to figure it out. It does not mean good. You can have... So, I don't want to tell people's business and names, but back in the days, younger men were pulled to the side by a mature woman and told what to do, shown what to do, how to do it. It only took one woman who knew what to do to teach a young man, hey, come here, let me tell you what to do, how to do it, slow it down, and then send that young man out into the world, and he's straight. It don't take 200 experiences for men or women.
It also takes a committed relationship. I mean, in a committed relationship, I would hope that both partners were heavily invested in not just in the bedroom, holistically making sure that their partner is happy. And that includes in the bedroom. And it sometimes does require communication, trial and error, all of this. But if you're just running through a bunch of people, when do you ever even stop to get feedback and understand what's happening? And the thing is, people are different. I just don't see how anybody can just equate a high body count with this means that they're so experienced that it's going to be so good. No, I don't see how that happens.
You need to give yourself a chance to know the person, to know what they like,
Right.
what they don't like. So you're not even getting that opportunity just running through them like that. So you're not going to be able to
And you
beat
actually
that
have to
experience.
value the
Everybody's
person.
different, and
Yeah.
everyone's
And
different.
you have,
You might,
yeah, and you have to value the person.
hmm
Like there's people
yeah.
who literally don't care. Like they get theirs and they move on. But you would think that somebody who cares about who they're with actually cares about whether this is a good experience for them.
What do
So
we tell our
true.
children? What kind of conversations are we having with our kids when this is the type of stuff that's on social media? These are the types of conversations that are being had. What do you talk to your kid about? Like, how do you sit and I say your kid meaning man, boy or girl, because there's
Mm-hmm.
the conversation you're having with your son and there's a conversation that you're having with your daughter, right? Is the conversation that we should be having with our sons, yo, like it don't take all of that. Make sure you of course you're being safe. Um, is it I know it's not wait until marriage, but it should definitely be safe, be selective. You don't gotta tap everything. With our daughters, is it, you know, not on the first night? Is it wait 30 days? Is it wait until you're married? Is it I mean, because we know they're not going to wait till they're married. Is it make sure you're protected? Is it here's a condom? Like no, Malinga, and I'm going to ask you to this, Deborah, too. What's what kind of conversations would you be having with your child around?
The standard is wait until you're married. But again, yeah, you do have to be realistic, and you do know that when you tell your child something, they don't always do what you tell them. But then it also goes into that whole conversation we're having about connecting with another human being, caring about them, seeing if they care about you, how do they treat you. As far as our boys go, I don't go into too much depth with them about what they should or should not do. I expect their father to do that. But I would think that as a mother, my relationship with them, their relationship with their sisters, would create something in their mind where they look at other women who are not in our family as, women that should be loved and cared for because they have women in their families that they have good relationships with and they care for them. They're respectful, they try to be helpful, they're kind, they're gentle, and so forth. I really hope that's the standard we're setting and that's the example. As far as the girls go, I do put it out there that the standard that we have for our family is wait until you're married. We don't always meet the standards that are set. And the next conversation would be get to know people before you spend too much time with them before anything happens. And then what's different, I think, about our generation is we try to be more open in terms of talk to me, talk to me more, because it seems like our generation and the ones before, there was this whole secretive thing and you did things behind your parents' backs and all that. So I think we're a little more open to conversations and trying to have them feel out people by bringing them by and we talk to them to see if they're good people and things like that. And I think that helps.
Okay. What about you, Deborah?
Yeah, when you mentioned the generation before us, no Malinga, you're right. They didn't talk to us like they should have. And then you get to us, and we're trying to have these conversations, and then you jump over to the next generation, and everything is just wide open because of the internet. They're getting all their information from the internet. They're learning, about emotions because of the internet. So when you're trying to, double back and tell them what to do and not to do, it's like, I already know, and I'm like, you don't know because there's a lot of emotions that go along with this. um, Men as well as women, play games and they, ego trip and, you think you're in love and they're just out to have fun. And it happens on both ends. It happens with the men and it happens with the women, the girls and the boys. So you just have to tell them to, be conscious of what you're doing. If you see someone isn't really out for you, then you got to pull back. Don't just give yourself up so easily. Like, make them work for it. Make them show you your value. You are worth it. Know your worth. And that's what I've told my children. I mean, they're adults now, and I still have conversations with them about toxicities and relationships, and people trying to stronghold you. in certain ways, whether it's with sex or material things. Like, just know your worth, know where your value, and if they are willing to be with you, they're willing to work to be with you. And it shouldn't be that easy. Don't make it easy for them.
Don't make it easy for them. I think that we and this is probably not the best way to say it, but I think we teach our girls to be stingy and our boys to be loose and free, right? Sow your royal oats, experiment, get out there, try a couple of different things and see some different women before you settle down, make a decision. And then with women, it's like, don't experiment. Don't put yourself out there. Find somebody to settle down. So we're teaching two different things, how we rear boys and how we rear girls. That's the home piece. But then you have the cultural piece, the music piece, the social media piece, the locker room piece, the movie piece. And unfortunately, in today's world, those things are stronger. And I think the Melanie would probably say they shouldn't be, right? Your home, what you're taught at home should be the piece, right? What you're modeling. And even that, as I say it, some of these homes is jacked up. Like, they shouldn't be, right? But the truth is they are. And it's causing people to listen to these types of things and think that they're reality, right? And so that being said, how does this conversation or this ideology, how does this set the standard for or impact trust and intimacy when we're hearing and or thinking that our partner or our person has been with or is in pursuit of 200 to 300 bodies? Normally, do you think that would impact trust and intimacy if you knew your partner was with 200 people prior to you?
Well, first of all, I don't really think that I don't think it's good to have been with 200 people. But actually, I don't think it's something that should really come up in conversation. That's just my opinion.
You don't think you should talk about how many partners you've been with?
No, like there's no relevance. There's no.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You don't want to tell them.
I don't want to know. I don't want to tell. I just don't think it's relevant. Because I'll tell you something. There is a lot of males or boys go through a phase where they're just very, their testosterone's going and and then as they mature, they turn into a different person than that young person who was all over the place. What should be alarming is if you're bumping into a man who's in his 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on, and he's still behaving like a teenager or someone in their 20s who's all over the place. And the thing is, I feel like it's a trap to ask people too many questions. I think that we learn more about people through scenarios or through examples. Like, if you talk to somebody about, like how we're having this conversation, you think, what do you think about this? You'll learn more than if you say to a person, do you think it's okay to be with 200 people? Most people are going to say, no, I don't think it's okay. It's disgusting, blah, blah, blah. And then meantime, they were, or they are, or whatever it is. So that's not very productive. And then also, when you ask somebody, how many people have you been with? Men might fluff up the number around other guys or in general to make themselves feel like, yeah, I did it. I got so many. And women are more like, yeah, you see, and women are tend to modify the number to go down. So it's just to me, it doesn't seem like a fruitful conversation to have. It's more important to talk about your values, about your future, what it is you want. Again, the standard that we set for our children is eventually they should want commitment, they should want marriage, they should want to build wealth, they should want to build families. So the kind of people that you choose to get to know or spend time with, you should be able to eliminate based on values and what they're showing you about themselves. So this conversation just kind of is like, it's over there. To me, it's just not that relevant.
I talk about it and I want to know. The health, one is for health reasons. Like, did you protect yourself with those 75 women? So I want to know about protection.
Funny thing is, the most promiscuous people tend to be the ones who use the protection the most because they know they're out there, right? Here and there you get.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
There are people who are just careless, right? And
I know the few who out here doing what they doing, and they are not.
Yes, being safe, right?
But I think that it's important to have that conversation. Well, I do it because I was promiscuous when I was younger, and I like to divulge because I don't ever want anything to come back and bite me in the butt. So I'm going to.
But why do you?
Hold on. We're gonna go to why? Let's go to this video real quick because we can literally keep going. Let's do this video. We'll come right back.
We don't talk enough about how people are blatantly ignorant towards STDs and how that is extremely harmful and not a flex to be 30 plus years old, not knowing what HSV1 is, what HSV2, what chlamydia, trichomonasis, gonorrhea, extreme gonorrhea. Y'all not knowing STDs scared the fuck out of me. Literally. And it's crazy because it be people like y'all who don't know the differences between STDs that truly, truly believe that it is okay to continue on the negative stigma behind STDs. Like, you will not catch an STD. More than 70% of the population in the United States of America has HSV1, which is herpes, which is also cold sores. So if you have ever seen somebody have a cold sore on their fucking lip, 9 times out of 10, that is herpes. HSV2, that is genital herpes. Mind you, you can get genital herpes if somebody with HSV1 kisses you on your fucking genitals. So that is also, like, I want to say between 1 in 5 or 1 in 7 people in total in the population who has HSV2. But the kicker, you literally don't even fucking know you will have HSV2 unless you randomly have an outbreak. And majority of the time, doctors will not test you for either of these because of how common it is to catch HSV1 and 2. Another kicker, HPV. Y'all do not realize how 90% of the population, matter of fact, my doctor told me this, once in your lifetime, if you are sexually active, you will catch HPV because of being sexually active, whether you have been safe about it or not. And it's more so tested in women because they can catch it in women due to us having, due to our uterus having like cancer benigns or things that look like cancer tumors down there. So HPV shows up first on your test, and then it comes up to showing like if you have cancer or something, they'll tell you have to go to this other doctor to get a certain type of pap smear type shit. Y'all need to be educated.
First of all, thank you, Lord, for a clean body. Thank you for being on them streets, Lord, and not having all these newfound STDs. Back to what we were initially talking about. That is why I asked. I want to know.
Take a test. If you're about to get into
I need to know.
Into a committed relationship. Doesn't it make sense? Isn't it not reasonable, rather than yap about how many you've been with and all this, where people can lie, or just go get tested?
So I have a girlfriend who she does not sleep with you until you've done an AIDS test. And I was like, men go for that? She was like, yeah. I was like, you don't never. She's like, never.
Yep.
She never. Well,
not just HIV, all of them STDs.
Well, they do all of them. Her dad passed from HIV, and so she has that trauma, right? And so from, let's say, about 22, 23 on, in order to, before she gets intimate with somebody, we got to take tests. And then I was like, man, I don't even know, how do you have that conversation with a man? Hey, before we can get down with the get down, we need to go and take these tests and I need to see if you're clean first.
I'm glad you brought that up. If you can't have that conversation, you should not be having sex with that person. If you haven't reached the point where your conversations have evolved to the point where you kind of see, how are we relating? Do we want to, spend more time together? Do we want to, take it to another level? Do you understand? Do you want to be exclusive? That kind of thing. That's the only time in my opinion, that's the only time you should even remotely be thinking about having sex. Now, if you're still at that stage where you kind of look from each other across the room, and then you make the eyes, and then you jet off to the bathroom, and because you feel hot and he feels hot, and whatever, there's no time for an HIV test.
That sounds like Friday night.
To me, I've only ever seen those things in like movies and TV shows, and it makes me very nervous to think that people might do that. Like, you just don't know this person. There's so many things. There's even if you put on like protection, there's stuff like genital lice and other fungus. It's just a whole bunch of gross stuff, and you don't even know this person. Then there's the other layer of people only focus on, I don't want to get pregnant, so I'm going to use some protection, or I don't want a disease, and there's a whole emotional element. And then there's the spiritual element, which is the most important thing. What does your spiritual environment look like when you've had 200 people, each one bringing their gang of demons in, and you've got your demons? And, all of that kind of just mixes up and just, yeah. And I think sometimes we dismiss this, but do you know that you just have to be on Facebook? I'm on Facebook a lot, and there's a lot of mental illness. And I wonder if there is a lot of mental illness. You see how people take things, post personally, they argue. To me, I see a lot of mental illness. Like, I can't imagine how people can be so dysfunctional. And I think a lot of it does have to do with the way that we think, and how our spirit has been affected. Some of us are just not okay.
There is that. Jordan said, in a relationship or not, people should be comfortable to want to go get tested. If not, scared they have an STD, I'm sure. The real Blaxican said, how? What's so hard about that? That should be a standard expectation for any man. I'm assuming he's talking about going to get tested before you sleep with others. Especially in this day and age, man, HIV is on the rise in different communities across the country. So these conversations, like, it's super unethical, unresponsible, and dangerous to say or to put out into the world you should have 200 bodies. It's definitely goes against Black excellence for our own community and Black family, and how we should be talking to each other, treating each other, valuing each other. It doesn't take
stay single. No, it's not.
Oh yeah, somebody else said, I saw that, stay single. It's best to stay single. I saw that too.
That's not the solution either.
Jordan says, I do not want an STD, nor ever had one. I have had one when I was younger. Again, I was promiscuous when I was younger.
I wanted to ask, like, why though?
Well, I was promiscuous when I was younger because I was looking for love in all the wrong places, daddy issues. My single mom, the oldest of 3 girls. My mom worked a lot, but mostly just daddy issues, trying to find love, just wanted somebody to be around.
Trying to connect. Yeah. Just trying to connect.
Yeah, the connection. And then I had low self-esteem. You guys have heard me say this before. In 6th grade, my first boyfriend, he used to call me BB and U, which is big, black, and ugly. And so one of the ways that I thought that you get boys to like you is if you let them like you.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
But then it gave me a bad reputation, right? I got known as a hoe like in 8th grade. And now, oddly enough, you do it more. Not you do it more, but you exploit yourself more because you have this bad reputation. So now you're trying to figure out, how do you get people to like you? What do you do? But then around 16, it turned to power. Then it turned to confidence. Now I'm like, I got this.
But that's still a false power and a false confidence.
Well, but you don't know it when you're young. When you're young, you don't know that that's what it is. You know that you're able to move the pieces on the board. You know that you're able to get these, you know what I'm saying? It feels like power because things are happening, right? It's not until you get older and you realize, oh man, I was spiraling. I was hurting myself. I thought I was coding, but really I was hurting myself. I was the problem. You don't know that when you're going through it. You're just in this like relentless whirlwind of why won't my life change? How come I can't find love? How come did it not realizing, oh, my actions, what I'm doing, how I'm dating, who I'm dating. I'm using my, like, when I think about it now, I used to feel like I'm in control. I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me. In hindsight, I'm dating like this. I'm not letting anybody get close. And then I'm wondering, well, why is this happening? Well, it's happening because of this. But when you're young, you don't know that. You're just hearing the music, doing what other people do. You're doing what you see. You're not well enough to use your language to know that you're really hurting. Right? Yeah. You don't get that type of maturity until you get older. And you can look and see something like this. That's dumb. Who would say that?
You know, and the sad part is not everybody gets to that maturity level of seeing things different. There's still women who think that it's liberating to sleep around, that, you know, I have needs, I'm gonna do this, I make this much money. If I want an escort to come and satisfy me in between my power, I don't know, travels or whatever. There's still women who think that way. And it's still like a false sense of confidence and a false sense of power, because that's not what that's for.
Mm-hmm. And by the time you realize it, you've messed up so much. But by the time, you know what I'm saying, if to your point, you realize it, because there's still a lot of people walking around who don't understand why their relationships look like they do, why they keep dating the same type of man or woman. Mm-hmm. They can't find love. Like they can't figure it out because they haven't taken that time. Or they hear something like this. Oh, well, maybe I haven't slept with enough people. Oh, maybe I'm like, somebody's going to hear this and think, I'm not, that's what it is. I'm not experiencing.
I'm not good in bed.
Yes. Like this type of stuff is so dangerous because it can feed into someone's already unwell perception of love, a relationship, or their body, or whatever the case might be. All right, so we have some stats and we have one more video. Let's go to our video and then we'll do the stats and then we'll go from there. All right, let's do stats first. Black families are disproportionately impacted by unstable relationships, which directly affects wealth building and generational stability. Sexual addiction is linked to higher rates of job loss, debt, and emotional isolation. That's a weird one. Children raised in stable two-parent households statistically have better financial and educational outcomes. Financial stress is one of the leading causes of breakups, often intensified by lifestyle, spending tied to dating and sex. Studies show men with higher rates of impulsive sexual behavior are more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and relationship instability.
And be broke.
In other words. Okay, let's do the video. We'll be right back.
Ladies, a lot of y'all don't understand that sexual promiscuity is a trauma response. And I'm going to tell you why. Oftentimes we're mistaking sexual promiscuity for like sexual liberation and being sure of ourselves sexually and what we want. But if we had to crack deep inside the trauma that lies behind that, all it's screaming is that you're trying to fill a void. And this void that you're trying to fill, you're trying to fill it in your relations with these men. What you're looking for, they can't provide. And that's why you're going from one man to the next, to the next, to the next. Subconsciously, you don't know this. Consciously, you feel that you're making a sound decision for yourself, but you are unaware of how the subconscious mind is working. And what it's saying is that you're trying to fill a void. What it's saying is that you don't feel loved. You don't value yourself. You feel worthless because of the experiences that you went through in childhood. Maybe.
I mean, we already said that, but yeah, what she said. A lot of times you don't know it. So hopefully you can get to a place where, somebody said, but it's somebody said maturity. You don't get mature from age. Maturity comes from experience. That is the truth. That is the truth. But also self-awareness, right? Once you start looking at your life, once you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, once you start realizing, like, wait a minute, I'm the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, how I keep ending up in the same situation?
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yes, right. It's diabolical to put content out with that kind of a conversation. I think it does more harm than good to even promote this kind of commentary.
There's always going to be stuff out there, which is why I'm just so firm on we have to do our best to make sure that the loudest voice is the one that comes from the home, that the best example comes from the home. Now, you can do everything in your power to give the best example, to expose your kids to the right things and so forth, and they still go do whatever they want. But at the very least, you should be trying to be the one who influences them, challenges their thoughts, gives them a good example, and sets standards. It's very important to set standards for your children, so when they go wrong, they understand that they went wrong. I mean, there's people who could be like, "Well, you telling me not to be a hoe, but my mama's a hoe," See, so, and we're laughing and making light of it, but that's actually some people's reality. They see different men going in and out of their mother's bedroom, and that sets the standard for them, and then they just continue, and it just continues, and that's sad. But what I always want is to never have these conversations where it sounds so horrible, it sounds so terrible, and we never actually talk about the fact that there is redemption. I heard you mention that you got to get to a point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and mostly sick and tired of yourself acting the fool, right? Yeah. And there's redemption. There's always redemption. If you choose to do something different, hopefully by the time you do that, you won't be dying of HIV or whatever else could take you out. You won't have wrecked your life. And even if you have, there's always redemption. There's always redemption. You can always take a different path, set your life straight and do better. You can even be honest with your children and say, well, look, I haven't been the greatest example here, but new information has come in. I'm trying to do things differently. And with my life experience and everything I've seen, I would advise you to do this and not what I did. I would advise you to take my bad decisions and see how they had bad outcomes and avoid them, or whatever it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that it's good to look at the positive side. That something positive can happen, even if it sounds so crazy.
I think it was I'm gonna use that as your final thought. Like, tell people where they can find you.
Okay, so I need to talk about Pads for Our Girls. We have a charity or a foundation that I founded here in Botswana. What we do is we help young women who are school age, who sometimes are so poor that they cannot go to school because they do not have sanitary pads. So what we do is we collect sanitary pads and we donate them. We can also collect cash. You can donate in cash, and then we buy and we donate. So you can go to padsforourgirls.com and donate. Even the smallest amount counts. We actually do for a trip in January to a girls' shelter that we've adopted. And we always take sanitary pads and other goodies for them. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm Noma Moses. And on Facebook, I'm Nomalanga Gaborone. That's my new surname. And I'm also on YouTube under my old name, which is Nomalanga Msauli Moses.
I love it. I think what I will add in our closing is just that, talk to your kids. Like, a lot of times parents don't even know what their kids are dealing with and going through. And if they're seeing stuff like this and they're already feeling some kind of way, talk to them, because they'll believe it. You know what I'm saying? They'll think that sex is power, because that's how it's taught now. And I think I got my best liberation when I went through a breakup. And I was like, I'm not messing around. I didn't have sex for like 3 years. And during those 3 years, I got to get to know myself in a way that I had never got to get to know myself in my whole entire life. And I think that that is when I was able to like just really get that self-awareness and appreciate myself and appreciate my body and take control over my thoughts and who I am and how I am. Because the accolades are cool, but not knowing who you are and standing up for yourself. And it shows up in everything, how you date, how you eat, how all those things represent how you think and how you feel about yourself. And this is how you end up with listening to somebody who says something stupid like 200 or 300 bodies. So talk to yourself if that's you, but definitely talk to these kids, because this generation, this next generation, this music, social media is jacking them up. And so at the end of the day, experience isn't just about how many people you've slept with. It's about self-control, emotional awareness, responsibility, and the ability to build something that lasts. Because when sex, money, and mental health are out of alignment, families suffer, relationships break down, and the cycle keeps repeating. This is Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Hope you enjoyed our conversation today, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you want to stay informed of when we go live, which is Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, you can text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. Again, that's Queens to 87948. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.